Okay, so it is January 10th, 2026. Um, it's a leisure day today. It's kind of nice. I've just been like doodling music and having a hormonal imbalance. That's the thing about women, man. Periods and premenstrual cycles, PMS, TMI. But, guys need to know this too. You guys really do need to know this. So when a woman goes a little buck wild, you could be like, oh, sweetie, it's something else going on in your body that you don't recognize because sometimes we can't. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's extreme. When it's extreme, like I'm angry for no reason, then I'm like, okay, why am I angry for no reason? Or other times I'll just be crying and I'm like, why am I crying? Like, so it would help if a guy could recognize that and instead of, taking it aggressively, like, why did she just snap at me? Maybe you should be like, when was the last time she had her period? You could help us out. That would help. I think for some women, for me too. Like I don't know. Anyway, that's not even where I'm trying to go with this. I decided to come down to see about a program that I was interested in because I'll be starting a class soon, and like I'm excited, but I'm not because I've already done these classes. Uh, in Los Angeles, I went to a program called PV Jobs, and I ended up teaching the basic math course. It was for electricians, and I ended up teaching it for the teacher. I think he was making like $75 an hour. So I was like, wow, I'm doing this for free. And you just sit here and watch me teach the class. But it was because I was bored. I was sleeping in class. And he actually gave me a really good recommendation. And that was when I applied for the job. I applied and I passed the test to be an electrician and to do one of the programs. Down in LA, I had two interviewers. One of them just did not like me, and he gave me like 88% or something. And anything under 90, they don't take you seriously. So you're on the list for 2 years. And after 2 years, I just didn't waste my time to go back because I was annoyed. I was absolutely annoyed um, because I knew I should have got the position. There was another woman there. She had been a mechanic for, I think, like 10, 12 years. And I think she had the similar situation where they didn't want to hire her. She was interesting. She was a lot more strong-willed than me. Very, at the time, you know, well, I have the utmost respect for her. Let's put it that way. But at the time, I had a little, I had a bit of ego. I'm not gonna lie, I did, but I was proud of myself, Um, and she was a little older than me, probably not that much older. But yeah, she was very strong-willed. You could tell her energy, and like now looking back, I'm like, yeah, she was really cutthroat. I could feel it, but I liked her. She was very direct with her words. Just we just talked for minutes, and that's what she told me. She was a mechanic for 12 years, and she didn't think the interviewers liked her because she was a woman. I had that when I applied to RDO. Um, and then I had three interviewers. Well, first of all, let's go to that. I did RDO in Riverside. They didn't even take me. They had a job fair. Wouldn't even talk to me. And then when I was dating Alexis in Coachella, had another RDO job fair out there. So I was like, hey, I could move in with you. I'll, get a job out there working on, forklifts and construction vehicles because that would be awesome. I've always wanted to do that. Oh my God, I love forklifts. They're everything all together. You have the ladder logic. So you have the computer programming, you have the mechanical, you have the hydraulics, just and the navigation system. You just have everything all together. It's wonderful. It's physics on steroids for me, and I loved it. Especially my favorite. Okay, my favorite forklift. I'm a little biased because it's German. It's Crown, but Raymond's, especially the heavyset stand-up reach Raymond's for cold storage, are so fun. Oh, with the double, how do you explain it? With the extra extending into locations. Those were very fun for cold storage. You would like halfway slide. It was fun. It's fun stuff. That's when I was working for Lineage Logistics. Anyway, going back. Um, RDO, I had 3 interviewers, a woman and 2 men. And I thought I probably got the job in Coachella the second time I went to the RDO thing, but unfortunately I did not. One of the they had 4 people apply for the position. I was the most highly qualified, but I was the only woman, so they didn't go with me. In fact, they got another guy who was very, very underqualified. He didn't know what he was doing. He was already there for like 2 or 3 months. By the time that I spoke to the woman interviewer, she told me that she wanted to include me into a lawsuit for discrimination because she said that she was sexually assaulted by one of the other male interviewers that interviewed me that day. And so she was suing the company and she wanted to know if I wanted to partake. And I said, yeah, sure. Because especially after she told me that that was the only reason they didn't hire me because I was a woman, even though I was the most qualified participant. It just seems to be a theme. And I'm so used to being in male dominated fields where because I'm a woman, automatically it's a problem. Like even at Burlington Coat Factory with Carlos and Anthony and another guy, they were all beneath me. Carlos worked as a cashier at AutoZone and he thought he was better than me. Instead of having this ego, he should have been like, maybe I can learn from her. Because by the time that I went to Burlington Coat Factory, I had already worked programming satellites at JPL for my internship. I had already gone through almost, I was already like 2 classes shy of my bachelor's degree in physics. I had already, before I got there, I was an engineering technician at Complete Coach Works when I was working over there. Yeah, that was my first one. Aside from that, I did my computer class for my internship at JPL for IDL, Interactive Data Logic. So yeah, by the time I got to Burlington, and I volunteered at an auto shop, and I was working on cars. Aside from the fact that I worked on cars with my dad, and then I worked on my own car. So over the years, and pretty much all of my exes were mechanics. Aside from Angel, like Antonio was a mechanic. I helped him stay in school. Russia was a mechanic. Alberto became one, but he didn't know crap at the time. I'm trying to think of other guys. There were other guys that I spent a lot of time with that friends. Joe from Riverside. I remember hanging out with Dylan when Joe was working on the car, and I was over there talking, messing with him on that. Larry worked on cars. He did auto body repair, but he still worked on cars. So yeah, a lot of so I already had so much history before I got to Burlington, and these 3 guys in Graveyard just hated my guts.